Hello and a very warm welcome, viewers. You're watching India Fights Back with your host, Kruti Mishra. The liberalized and accelerated phase 3 of COVID-19 vaccination drive has started today. Everyone above the age of 18 years will be administered the COVID-19 vaccine in this phase. The registration process for this phase is on, and over 2.66 crore people have already registered on the COVID portal so far. The appointments for people aged 18 years and above has also opened at multiple locations. In this phase, the vaccination will continue as before in the central government's vaccination centers, free of cost to the eligible population, including healthcare workers, frontline workers, and all the people above 45 years of age. And to discuss the way ahead for ramping up vaccination, I'm joined by Dr. B.L. Sherwal, Director of Rajiv Gandhi Super Speciality Hospital, and Dr. Sunil Raina, Professor and Head Community Medicine, Dr. R.P. Government Medical College, Tanda in Himachal Pradesh. Welcome to Rajya Sabha Television, gentlemen. Dr. Sherwal, the registration process for this phase is on, and over 2.66 crore people have already registered on the CoWIN portal so far. We saw hits of 55,000 per second. Certainly, we can say that vaccine hesitancy seems to be declining now.
Definitely, this is a very good sign. Actually, we have seen vaccine hesitancy in the first and second phase. Definitely, we were struggling to, convince people to come to the vaccination session sites. But when it comes to the young population, actually, and such a massive, registration, so this is a sign that now people have realized the value of the vaccination. They now they understand the advantage of the vaccination, and whatever the side effect, people have now overcome that. The benefits over the side effect is much more as compared to the side effect. So that is very, very important. Heartening to see in India if such a response is there. Actually, I will say that these are the people who are really need vaccination, because these are the young people who are working. They go out of the house for their earning for the family. So I believe if they are safe, so it will be able to save much more lives in India. So I think this is the right way to go ahead, and the response is definitely very, very good.
This is the right way to go ahead. And Dr. Raina, tell us about the impact of accelerated phase 3 strategy of National COVID-19 vaccination program on vaccine production and its distribution.
Well, thanks, Kruti, for having me on the show. I just would need to put things in the perspective. Now, if you look at vaccination across the world, there are three major players as far as vaccination are concerned. One is production of vaccine, second is the demand for vaccine, and third is the delivery of vaccine. So if you look at India at this point in time, with the acceleration or broad basing of vaccination, the numbers that we are expected to hit in this year is around 80 crore people. So that's the number that we are targeting in next 5, 6, 7 months or something like that. And that means roughly around 160 crore of vaccine doses, because most of the vaccines at this point in time in the market are 2 regime doses. So we'll be roughly requiring 160 crore vaccine doses in another 6, 7 months whenever we are thinking of vaccinating everybody. Out of these, if you take 16 crore vaccines have already been distributed, you are left with around 140, 144 crores to be distributed. Now, this is important in the sense that what we are producing at this point in time is very small as compared to what we require. So if you look at the country's capacity as far as production of vaccine is concerned, there are 2 major players, the Serum Institute of India and the Bharat Biotech, which produce around 8 to 10 crore a month. So it's really needed that we increase the gambit of vaccine production. We ramp up the capacity so that more and more vaccines are produced and this demand is met with. And there are different ways of doing this, and we need to urgently take up all of these issues if we are targeting the population that we have thought of targeting in next 5, 6 months. That's something that is really on our plate for next 5, 6 months of time. I would also think that we need to go beyond just these 2 companies, Bharat Biotech and the Serum Institute of Pune. We don't have many options at this point in time as far as other vaccines are concerned, because if you look at the international market, we have the Sputnik 5 that we will be receiving, and this was today itself was the one which we were supposed to receive. But Sputnik is expected to deliver us around not more than 8 to 10 crore vaccines, not more than that. So again, the shortfall will be there. And we won't have vaccines from the Moderna. Moderna is something which will not be able to supply us large cache of vaccines. So also Johnson & Johnson has not agreed in principle to supply us vaccines. That leaves us with Pfizer. And if I am correct, Pfizer is almost sold out this year. So India needs to think inward. It has to ramp up the capacity of these two major players of vaccine at this point in time, as also identify other vaccine manufacturers who are manufacturing vaccine on similar platforms as that of Bharat Biotech and Serum Institute of Pune, and sort of make them enter into an MOU with these two companies, so that some of the facilities of these two manufacturers, the other manufacturers, can be used for development of these vaccines. So probably thinking beyond what is existing at this point in time is going to help. As also the fact that, as Professor Sarwala rightly pointed out, that vaccine wastage has to be taken care of. We are wasting a lot of vaccines at this point in time. As also the fact that maybe we need to scientifically delve into whether we can extend the number of doses that can be, the difference between the first and the second dose at this point in time. So maybe if we are using a 2-dose regime and having a separation of 4 to 6 weeks for the dose between first and second dose, maybe extending it beyond that, maybe that is something that also needs to be thought out scientifically with the valid data. Then only we will be able to overcome this challenge.
All right, you made very important points. Let me take that to Dr. Sherwal. Dr. Sherwal, do you agree with Dr. Raina about wrapping up production?
Definitely. Dr. Anna has pointed out 2-3 things. They are very, very important actually. One is definitely ramping up the production and adding of the other companies or other vaccines which are on the way. And as I was reading in the newspaper that the Covaxin is going to start their production from the other plant. And even if they are trying to get it outside the country. So I think this will be good if we can have the other production house. And because these are the two vaccines which have already gone through the process actually. So instead of allowing the other companies for trial and all that will take time. So we don't have time actually. So for vaccination drive, there is a time. Time is a factor actually. We have to win that race. If we have to win the race, basically we want that it has to be on a massive way, and more people should get vaccination within a short period of time. Then it is going to be effective. Otherwise, there are other it may lead to another problem. There may be issue of mutation in the virus if we are not able to get vaccinated the required population. So that will rather be other way around. So as Dr. Rana, he is the right public health person. He knows that how important is this, that we should get as much as people we can vaccinate within a short span, say 4 to 5 months. One. Second thing which he has suggested, this is very, very important, that if we can increase the difference of the dose, gap of the doses, so that we can have more and more people who will be able to get at least 1 dose of the vaccine. So that is important, because in this, it is not only this that more and more people get infected, vaccinated, but at the same time, there are studies, there are evidences that if the gap is more, they will be getting the more level of antibodies, and it will the booster dose will be more effective when we take after. It has already been proved in some countries actually, so that data is there with us. So it is always good to follow science with the evidence, so which we have. So it will be very, very good actually. Another point when we say escalation is, so we have seen that the doses are being wasted. That may be on the front of the vials opening, or because of the storage, or because of the sometime the required candidates beneficiary are not there. they just open the vial and 1 or 2 dose has been given. The rest of the doses are going waste. So that has to basically check. And it is quite a number. Actually, it is not 1 or 2 doses. But when you see the percentage, 6%, 7%, 8%, it is a huge amount of the doses are going waste. So I think we should have check and we need to have certain directions to modify. If we do not have the required person, I think we can give it liberty to the vaccinators that they can always call the people in the surrounding or known, so that at least now it is the community, it is not the criteria that matter now. If any person who's above 18, anyone can be called, whether it is paid or free, because it is better. Instead of wasting the vaccine, it can be given to them.
Absolutely. Dr. Rana, since we're talking about wastage, now even during the third phase, Center from its share will continue to allocate vaccines to states and UTs based on the criteria of extent of infection and performance, of course. Now, wastage of vaccine will also be considered in the criteria and will affect the criteria negatively. So do you think this is a very important move in reducing the wastage?
Absolutely, this is an important move in the sense that it will hold people accountable. So if you are getting a precious commodity in your hand, vaccine is a very precious commodity at this point in time. If you are having a precious commodity in your hand and you are wasting it, you are making a criminal error. So it's absolutely true that people have to be held accountable for making having these wastages. But at the same point in time, I think we also need to build some sort of a capacity of people how exactly to reduce wastage. So you see, the delivery of vaccines is generally done by trained professionals. But these trained professionals also need to be sensitized to this issue of vaccine wastage. And they need to be in a position of dictating how exactly these vaccines are judiciously used. So for example, if they get a dosage of, if they have a 10 dosage vial with them, but the number of people who are reporting to vaccine center is less than 8, or it's a 5 or 6, they should have the powers to refuse vaccination for those people. So something empowering them in judicious usage of vaccination is also important. As also, I would request the vaccine manufacturers to reduce the number of dosage per vial. If you look at most of the vaccines at this point in time, they have 10 dosage vials. So the chances of getting a vaccine wastage is higher in a 10 dosage vial than in a 5 dosage vial. That is something that we have seen with Covaxin. Covaxin dropped from 20 to 10 doses. So maybe something reducing the number of dosages per vial will also be helpful as far as reducing wastage is concerned. But of course, the important thing will be empowering people, making them sensitive to wastage, and holding them accountable. All three things will go together to prevent wastage.
But that question comes to my mind when you talk about reduction in dosage. Will the impact be the same?
Obviously, at this point in time, we are using multi-dose vials. Basically, impact doesn't. You look at vaccine from 2 points of view. You look at vaccine from its efficacy point of view and potency point of view. Reducing the number of doses per vial does not impede in any way both of these. They stay the same. Efficacy, potency stays the same. What it does is that it will increase the amount of doses in your shelf. It will increase the amount of dosage in your cold chain system. But at the same point in time, if we are able to save the number of vaccine, if we are able to save vaccine wastage by reducing the number of doses, maybe this is a risk we should be taking.
All right. Since we're talking about ramping up production, Dr. Sherwal, the center is in discussion with vaccine manufacturers to ramp up production of jabs to meet the increasing demand, and also supporting states to ensure that vaccination coverage is expanded at the earliest for this phase. What are the efforts that states need to put in now?
No, every state need to put up effort to streamline the process of procuring the vaccination and delivery system, and then making awareness of the people. So all efforts should be there, and we should not depend on A or B like center or state. I think nowadays the health of the people, which is very, very important, and we have to combine all the effort, and we should fight for the lives of the people. Actually, let us. It is a message that everybody should come forward and support. Anyway, whatever they can do, I think. I will add, Dr. Rana, what you are saying that for the doses, I will request that more and more vaccines, new candidates are coming with a single dose vaccine. I think they can have the efficacy increase, and that will be very good. Actually, like Johnson and Johnson now, as of now, their efficacy has around 50 to 60%. Exactly, I'm not aware that now, but hopefully, if it is more data is there, and if it is increased, so I think that will be another good point that single dose vaccines should be advocated. And
Yes.
there are news that nasal vaccines that will have I think that will change the game. That is a game changer if we can have the nasal vaccine, because we all know that the entry point of the virus is the nose. It is through the aerosol and the droplet. So if we can have the vaccine which is given through the nose as a nasal spray, I think that is another point which government should stress.
Absolutely. And Dr. Raina, states are also free to talk to international players following the current guidelines. That would also be a major development.
Yes, that's a major development. But as I said, there are not many international players in the market that are going to help us. As you look at as I said, there are 3 or 4 major players. Sputnik is already going to be made available to us. It leaves us with Johnson & Johnson and the Moderna vaccine. Moderna is not going to deliver us vaccines because I think it has already sold out. It's not a big manufacturer. It's a small manufacturer. It doesn't have too many doses to offer. Johnson & Johnson has not committed any vaccines at this point in time. Pfizer is a big company, but if you look at states, I'm not very hopeful of states being able to offer the cold chain system that Pfizer necessitates. This is a very stringent cold chain mechanism that the manufacturer wants, and I don't think states have the capability. All the states have the capability to offer that cold chain. So probably that's not something that should enthuse people. What should enthuse states is that they are wanting Indian players to come into the market. More and more Indian players will help. But you asked a very important question. What should states do? States are, if you look at Indian structure, the states are the major players as far as health is concerned. Health is a state subject. So states need to delve into 2 basic things. They need to look at 2 basic things. One is that they need to spread out the message that vaccination is important and it has to be done as soon as possible. And for that, what they need to do is they need to prioritize. So maybe if you're looking at 18 and above age groups, so there will be a few people who may already have been infected with the vaccines, with the virus. So they may have been infected with the virus in a day's time, or a week's time, or 10 days time, or some would have had a month's time. So probably telling the people that who have had a virus infection of the COVID-19 very recently, they should stay away from vaccination at this point in time. That will again reduce the number of people who receive the vaccines. So that will reduce the number. So having high number of infections in your people should reduce the actual number of vaccines that are delivered to that area. That is something that states need to take up. As also, they can add up antibody testing to their kitty, and testing people for the level of antibodies that they have who have been infected. And if they have good enough antibodies at this point in time, they can be asked to come later for vaccination. That will again reduce the vaccine demand. As also, probably, if you look at a state like Uttar Pradesh or a Bihar or a very large state, there will be areas which are reporting higher number of cases. As I keep saying, there will be epicenters in these areas, and there will be areas which are showing lesser number of cases. So probably supplying more number of vaccines to the areas which are showing higher number of cases will be beneficial, because ultimately you are looking at vaccines at this point in time. You are looking them as a source of reducing transmission, if not in this wave, but at least for the next period of time, that once the number of vaccines go, you don't have a very bad third wave, or you don't have a very bad period after the second wave. So probably having more vaccines in the area which are showing higher number of cases should also be taken up by the state governments. So building a good database and being able to identify that data, putting up the data in the relevant context will be the key for the states. And that is where the state should also help the central government. The data will be vital for all people, for us in future to interpret and use for vaccines as well as for other purposes.
Absolutely. So the database is going to be of paramount importance. But since we're talking about multiple candidates, Dr. Sherwal, as we know that there'll be several vaccines in the market now, how will we monitor adverse events thoroughly?
See, now we are, aware of the AEFI, which in the beginning actually even the medical fraternity was not really aware that there may be some severe side effects of the vaccination. But now, since last almost 3 months now, we have seen that there is hardly any side effect or major side effect. As far as when you say side effect like fever, swelling, maybe body aches, or sometime nausea, vomiting, these are the normal, side effect as in the other vaccination. So there is nothing to worry. We really don't have any such side effect which has been noticeable and which has caused the mortality or debilitating effect on the beneficiary. So that should be very clear, actually. And I will say that regulators are playing very good role in that until unless they are ensure that this is safe to launch in the market, it is never being put for experiment. So that safety issue is been taken care by the regulators, and then only it is put for use. Though it can be emergency, but still it cannot be experimental in that sense that let us see people will die or not. So it is for the safety of the people. First thing is that not even a single person should die because of the vaccination. That is very, very clear and important. So efficacy is secondary thing. So first thing is that side effect in the form of the mortality, we should be very clear. Scientists work on that the candidate and the dosage and the formulation, that should be safe enough, and it should not lead to any side effect which can lead to mortality in the beneficiary or such some complications. There can be associated complications sometimes, which we will study with the time, and the data will be there. But as of now, I can assure you that till now there is no major side effect actually. So that people should be just forget about it. There are rumors, there are various WhatsApp coming about in the WhatsApp groups. So that should be avoided actually. So it is not truth.
Let's not believe these unsubstantiated messages on WhatsApp or on social media platforms. Let's completely rely on medical advice. But before we end this conversation, closing comments from both my guests on India's COVID strategy and, of course, the vaccination strategy. Dr. Sherwal?
Yeah, I'll just say that vaccination now is in the final phase, which I'll say that third phase or final phase. Basically, so the state should put all the effort to get the vaccination, because that is the most important thing now. That pricing and everything should be get set, and they should find the ways how this vaccine can be reach to the last person in the room. So that is important. Particularly, I'm really afraid that how it will reach to the rural areas. They are the most vulnerable people actually. So once we are lucky that it is, the virus has not reached there yet in the interior. So, but for vaccination, because once the virus is there, it doesn't spare anyone actually. So I will request the authorities that rural areas and travel areas, they also are vulnerable. It should try that each and every person, whosoever come in that bracket, should be vaccinated.
Absolutely. Dr. Raina, your closing comments on India's vaccination strategy.
I think it's important for us to realize that vaccination is important. It is something which is going to save us from serious illness, and it is going to also save us from any further peaks in the future. But I would say that vaccination should not be seen as a single tool for mitigating the impact of this pandemic. In addition to vaccination, we need to continue doing what we have been doing the best in the last phase of this illness. So we were doing the COVID appropriate behavior. So vaccination should not make us let us drop our guard. We should continue to keep the guard, as also get vaccinated, because that is going to be helpful. As also use all other strategies. So it has to be a multi-stakeholder, multi-pronged strategy to counter this pandemic. Vaccination is one of the tools, an effective tool, but all other tools are as vital as vaccination is. Keep the patience and let your turn come for the vaccination, but till then exercise all other precautions, all other caution that is required to counter this pandemic.
Absolutely. So come what may, follow the COVID appropriate behavior. That is the biggest takeaway from the experts on our panel today. On that note, thank you so much for joining us. All right, so that's all I had for you in this edition of India Fights Back. But before that, let me remind you once again to stay safe from the coronavirus pandemic. Remember to wear a face mask and wash your hands and face regularly, and ensure that you maintain physical distancing whenever you're stepping outside. These simple precautions are all it takes to defeat the pandemic. Take care and goodbye.